Hello, hello. I notice I always start fixing my hair when I get on these things. My name is Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. And I would like to begin this live by saying I am not a therapist. I do not do therapy. I do what is called energy psychology, and that is essentially a process in which I help people connect directly with the alignment of their heart, their mind, their body, and their soul. When we're connected to our soul fully, completely, it changes how we interact with the world. It helps us align and become just happier human beings. So, today I wanted to talk about this very important topic of energetic infiltration. And it started with a beautiful prompt by my husband today asking me a question about, well, why do you have to do these things when you are living your life so fine? You are healthy, you're wealthy, you're living your life fine, and why did you have to start doing this? Hi, Kevin. Good to see you. So why did you have to start doing what you do? And I said the interesting thing is that most people. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Kevin, Eric. So happy to see you both here. Thank you for joining. We're talking about energetic infiltration today, and this might be a topic that you know something about. It might be something that you might be afraid to look at. But I will tell you for certain, the fear around the energetic infiltration is exactly why you need to understand that Kevin, we weren't at dinner, we were walking our dog. But it is one of my favorite things to do. That's my dog barking at the other dog. Okay. So, energetic infiltration. I'm going to get to questions after I just start out by saying what exactly is energetic infiltration. So, this is something you can't always see unless you're able to see multidimensionally, okay? But you absolutely can feel energetic infiltration when you have more awareness about what exactly it is. Now, infiltration will happen most commonly in your health and also most commonly in your dreams. People are most vulnerable when they are in their dreams and they do not know. Sorry, there is a helicopter going. And people do not understand when they're vulnerable in their dreams or how they're vulnerable in their dreams. They think they're just dreaming, but what happens in our dreams is that we have energetic portals, and a lot of people get worked with in their sleep. So the infiltration is going to come with sensing energies, maybe somebody sitting on your bed, or maybe you're walking and you see a shadow, or maybe you just feel or hear static in your ears. When things are thrown into your energy field, it will be staticky, meaning you'll hear, like you can hear me talking, but in the background there'll be like almost like a static, a buzz, if you will, but not like a high-pitched buzz. Another way people get infiltration is through ringing in their ears. And a lot of people will take these infiltrations and they will go to a doctor, and the doctor will say, there's nothing wrong with you. Or they can't figure out what's wrong with you. And so you go through this whole diagnostic of tests that lead you down a path of more vulnerabilities, full infiltration. So oftentimes when we are taking or ingesting foods that are not clean or proper, that weakens how your systems communicate. So basically, that is essentially what an infiltration will do. It will weaken your inner ability to communicate directly to your heart, and to your soul. So when that separation becomes more distinct, meaning, hey, maybe you don't believe there's a God. Maybe you don't believe that you have a soul purpose. Maybe you're into, you're more of like an antichrist type of a person, and you don't even know why. Or you'll start to have strong senses about other people and disdains. You might even have thoughts that you think are your own, but you don't understand that there is a collective consciousness that occurs where you can receive thoughts that are inorganic, meaning they didn't originate from you, but they get quote unquote implanted. That is energetic infiltration. So if you don't understand what it is, then how do you keep it from happening? And let's just say that you believe in God. Let's just say that you believe in God, but you don't have a really personal relationship with God. Then you don't have what's called the armor of God, which is a protection that comes with your connection to God. You can't get that from going to church, in my experience. You must, because your belief system cannot be that you are separate from your connection. So your relationship to God is what creates what's called inner strength. When you have inner strength, you are connected to consciousness called creator consciousness. That's also God consciousness. Creator consciousness, God consciousness, they're all very high frequencies of consciousness. Now, that is why people get infiltrated, is because they do not know that they need to have a strong connection to God, because who the hell is telling them that? Is it their parents? No, the parents are telling them, go to church, read the Bible, do these things. That's not the same as you developing your own personal relationship with God. Whatever that relationship is, it's unique to each person. But if you don't have it, what will happen is you'll get lost. You'll feel lost, lonely, bewildered, depressed, anxious. You'll go into the medical system looking for answers to ailments that have come to you because there has been a lack of knowledge about infiltration. So let me ask you this. How many people in this chat are familiar with black magic? Or were you taught to be afraid of it? Most people are afraid to know anything about black magic. Why? Because they don't want it to happen to them. But if you don't know what it is, you don't know that it's already happening to you. So the lack of information about what black magic is and what white magic is leaves you vulnerable energetically. Because whether you want to believe it or not, people are practicing these aspects all the time. They will be people that you think are white, normal, blonde hair, blue eyes, fake boobs, fake teeth, big lips. They got the fake boobs. They're all fake, and they're practicing black magic. It happens more often than you think. But if you don't understand how that false view of people will make you vulnerable energetically, then you can get pulled in. So let's look at something that's come up on the chats here frequently, which is pornography. Pornography is a portal for manipulation and infiltration, period. Those energies get siphoned. So go watch the other video about how to call back your energy. And then you'll be able to break some addictions, maybe not all, but you'll be able to break significant amounts of them. So for those of you who have seen in the chats these people that put Bible verses in the chats and this and that, which, I'm just going to answer questions. I'm not going to stop and read your Bible verses that you believe, because I do not believe that we should be pushing our beliefs on others. What we need to do is to develop a deep relationship within ourselves. That's what being in sync is. That's what this channel is all about. It's about aligning within, creating your own unique connection that you have to your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul. All of those work together to create this inner congruence. When you have that strong connection, you create this armor, this vibration, this frequency within your field that is strong and resilient. And then these lower frequencies, these lower vibrations, these people who do black magic or voodoo, it can't touch you. It will just hit your energy field and fall off. But if you don't know that that's happening, how do you know you're becoming vulnerable? You have to sense it. And if you don't know that what you're sensing and seeing, like say you're seeing shadows, and you're so scared of the shadow, you don't even want to speak it to people because you don't even want, because you're seeing things, right? People think that's crazy. It happens all the time. And it's not crazy. It's just that people think that by saying that they're feeling or seeing crazy, they think they're going to get put into a mental institution. And they're not. They're going to be put on drugs, which allows more infiltration to these energies because it weakens your inner connection. That's why when you take medicines, it's important to really, even though whatever you took the medicine for, it served that purpose, you definitely want to realign your systems to hold the organic blueprint of your inner connection, because oftentimes those medicines will repattern your energy field for a weaker frequency. So have you ever known somebody that went into surgery, had anesthesia, and then they get depressed later? So that's a weakness that comes with that. Also, it might be that their gut biome gets completely destroyed, to be honest with you, and they think it's because they have a weak system. It's not. It's because we have been conditioned in societies to do these protocols that have vulnerabilities to us physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. And that is how your field can be infiltrated. So I am going to go ask questions. Any questions about infiltration, I will answer. I will say this, unfortunately, I became an expert in this because I knew things were happening in my energy field, but because I had not been exposed to the language, because this is the energy field is a different type of language than, when I was teaching leadership in colleges, which, by the way, I've been teaching leadership for over 25 years. I have gone into this world of energy psychology because I find it is far better and stronger for my clients to be equipped to handle anything that's happening in an organization, because there's a lot of negativity that gets thrown at leaders. And when I started teaching my leaders this type of inner strength, they got promoted faster, they made more money, and they felt stronger and more confident. And so this is the real leadership, is to serve humanity, not to teach curriculums that bring people to books that they just read these stupid books and think that they're going to be somehow better and stronger. And in fact, they become weaker because they're more vulnerable, because all they're doing is reading books. They don't know how to identify the things that people aren't talking about, which is like magics. And unfortunately, they exist. And I found out the hard way. Once you get whammied, you learn. Okay. So good to see Kevin, Eric. I like that you guys have come back again and again. Thank you so much. I'm just looking for questions. I don't see any questions. Somebody is asking, there's not a name, just a lot of letters. Have I read Carl Jung? I am familiar with Carl Jung's work. I haven't read any, I don't know if you're talking about a particular book, but I am very familiar with his work. And so thank you for that question. Is dissociative episodes or epileptic now I can't see, epileptic episodes be part of an infiltration? I think that's what you're asking. I would say dissociative episodes are associated more often with trauma, which is a vulnerability energetically, and epileptic seizures. I think that's what you're meaning, episodes. Anytime where there is a short circuited of your perceptions and your experience in life that causes trauma, repeated trauma over and over and over again, which is what epilepsy can cause. It's like a massive disruption in your processing, let's just say. That can cause a weakness with your connection. That does not have to determine your connection with your heart if you have practices to reconnect immediately after an episode. And more often than not, most people in those types of traumas go into what's called panic praying, which is when they are praying from their head and not their heart. And those are not the same kind of prayers. They don't carry the same frequency and they don't carry the same engagement with support. So panic praying is more fear-based, and anything that is fear-based creates what's called a polarity. And when you have polarity in your experience, it creates a separation in your connection to God. Does that make sense? Hope that helps. I hope that was helpful. What do you do if someone sees bad dreams more than 2 to 3 months? Coro, dreams are a portal, okay? So first I would say, there's a couple things I would say. You're saying it's because of stress. So first of all, you must address stress. How you address stress is different for everybody. You got to find what works for you. There are some herbs that you can take. I think ashwagandha, which is an Indian herb. I practice Ayurvedic healing. And I would say before I even got into Ayurvedic healing, ashwagandha is a life hack. It is so supportive and helpful for bringing calm to your systems. That's an herb that you can take. But the first thing that I would say is that you must get a handle on your nervous system. So I think last week, look at last week's videos, I taught people in the video how to turn their fight or flight off. If you're stressed and you're chronically stressed, what will often happen is you'll be in fight or flight, and maybe you're not even aware that that's what you're in, because if it's chronic stress, what happens is your nervous system gets kicked on. It stays on and it just kind of revs. Well, when that's revving, what it's doing is it's sending out a signal of distress. That distress signal is siphoned as life force because you are disconnected from all your systems in a healthy way when fight or flight is on, especially because stress should not trigger fight or flight, right? Fight or flight should be reserved for life and death situations, not for everyday living. And that survival mode is what needs to be turned off. This is the first thing that I teach every client on every single call, regardless if it's a half hour or an hour session. I cannot do my work with a client if fight or flight is turned on. So the first thing we do is turn it off. And I teach my clients how to turn off fight or flight session 1, because that is a skill that everybody should have. Regardless of the stressful situation, you must learn how to address and own your nervous system. Nothing should be triggering that fight or flight on or off unless you are consciously aware. When you are stressed, it'll go on. You won't even know it's on. Like in people who are on anxiety medicine, they have I could feel their nervous systems revving, but because they're on anxiety medicines, they can't even sense themselves. They don't even realize that their nervous system is revving high. I could feel it because I'm an empath, but it's not comfortable to be around, because then you have somebody who's completely unaware that their fight or flight is on. They're sitting at a dinner table, they're trying to have a common conversation, but they're anxious and they don't even know they're anxious. So you must become more self-aware. The other thing, Coro, is learn how to do what's called conscious breathing. Become a master at conscious breathing and conscious awareness. This means that you are aware of yourself. You're compassionately aware. You don't try to shut your systems down. You don't want to do that. It's about having awareness that your fight or flight is on. Oh, my fight or flight is on. I'm highly stressed. I must do something different. What am I going to do different? Am I going to breathe? Am I going to take a hot bath, a salt bath? What am I going to do to take care of myself? Because my body is in panic. If 99% of the population did this, they would not be on the medicines that they're on. Okay. I hope, Coro, that helped answer your question. Let me go to dreams, because you asked about dreams. When you are dreaming, before you go to sleep, it would be helpful to have an intention before you go to sleep. So I have an intention setting program here. Find a way to create an intention. It's free on this YouTube, so go find it here on this channel, and learn how to be more intentional before you go to sleep. And if you're one of those people that wakes up while you're sleeping and you go to the bathroom or whatever, you get frequent wake-ups, it's important to have a plan of what you're going to tell yourself before you go to sleep. So you want to connect with your heart, you want to say your intention, and you want to ground yourself with I am here, I am here, I am here, I am safe. Because if you're going to sleep and you're not in a war-torn area, which unfortunately we do have a lot of war going on, but if you're not in that situation, you should be able to have a restful sleep. And then again, that herb, ashwagandha, is so good. And you can also use ashwamaka is a good one too. Maurice is saying, if you feel unloved, just know that Jesus loves you. I would say just know that your connection to Christ and creation is far more important than thinking that you're unloved, because that's a lie. Your thought, if you have any thoughts or feelings that you're not loved, that is the lie. And that's the implanted thoughts that need to be pulled out. Okay, Kevin. Kevin says, I know what is going to happen when I go out shopping, just like if there was something that is going to go wrong. Okay. Kevin, you bring up a very wise, astute perception, because there are locations such as grocery stores that have programs for all their people to go in. So you want to be very clear in your instructions to your intention. So Kevin, what I would suggest that you do is have an intention before you go into the grocery store. So for me, I connect with my heart. I connect with God and creation, and I create what's essentially called the armor of God, or cylinder, that cannot be penetrated. And then when I go into the store, I do what I need to do, and then I leave and I just reconnect. If I've disconnected from my heart, I just reconnect, giving gratitude and appreciation for the experience. So Kevin, the intention is very, very important. Okay. Somebody says, hi, I like your energy from Turkey. I am Diana. Hi, Diana. Somebody says, my mom is unkind. They used another word. What should I do? My mom is a bitch. I would say there needs to be some healing around the mother. What should you do about thinking your mom is a particular way? Well, your thoughts about a particular person are more reflective of you than her. So, although she may be a particular way, how you view your mother really is what harms you. So, if you can't be loving and compassionate with your mother, thinking that she is a bad person, then you need to find love in your heart and compassion for somebody that just has no real understanding of how unkind or rude they may be. And that's not a judgment, that's an acknowledgement of there are unfortunately some people out there that are very wounded, very disconnected, and they lash out at people who are kind and loving. They don't need a reason to do this. They do this because they have created what's called a black heart. And a black heart is a massive separation from creator energy. And unfortunately, I've known more than one of these. Porta Vida, I had a false brain tumor and thought I was hearing from one of God's generals. Well, that's a very interesting thing that you're associating God's workers as military. And I would say that's very unfortunate. And I would say that's probably very as close to an antichrist experience that there would be. So for somebody who is a believer in Christ energy, which you posted earlier, that's an antichrist experience. I had another client maybe a couple weeks ago saying that they were watching some kind of Christ movie that they thought was going to be religious, and they ended up having a very demonic experience from watching this movie, which shocked them because in the movie they were saying that Christ killed all the bad people. And I'm like, that's not exactly how Christ consciousness operates. So what they were actually witnessing was antichrist energy, antichrist consciousness. And that's what the movie was based on. So this is what's called false information, misinformation. People think they're going to Christ consciousness when in fact they're aligning with the demonic energies. And also, I'm so sorry about your false brain tumor. The medical community, as good as it can be, it's really bad too. I was misdiagnosed too many times to count. Although I did count, it was like 8 or 9 times. Okay. Kevin, your message deleted. Porta Vida says he was still very empowered. Well, I'm glad. Animal says, for us men in here, how to keep your woman happy. You have to be her lover and always keep it spicy. And date her. How about ask questions that are interesting and get to know your partner, and your partner will always want to know that you're interested in them, and it has absolutely nothing to do with sex. So animal, hopefully that helps you. Porta Vida says, I subscribed. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. Your words are calm and collected. Thank you so much. Porta Vida, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you are aligning with what we're talking about. And, you know, the more of us in humanity who are aligned to creator energy source, that have that deep connection to our hearts, the more we can shift what's happening in the collective consciousness, which is why I'm doing these videos, is to have people be more aware of the natural laws. Kevin says, God let me know as soon as he's there to help me keep going. Keep that deep relationship going, Kevin. Okay. I think Jesse Hernandez is saying a lot of things about Jesus Christ, but I think the language of the Christ energy has been manipulated. It has been infiltrated. And that is why so many people have such a resistance to it, is because people pontificate these terms and it comes with a loaded energy that is called antichrist. So it's not actually Christ energy. And you can tell the difference by how it feels. It doesn't feel like I am doing something wrong when you're connected to something like Christ consciousness. However, when you're connecting it to, I need to be saved, nobody needs to be saved. We need to be connected. We need to be connected to our hearts and to our souls. And that is the armor of creation, the armor of God. Just looking for questions here. And then I'm going to jump off. So if you don't have a question, thank you for being here. Okay. Axilla official, I had to kick my mom out because she kept talking. XL official kicked out his mom, and now he feels bad because he doesn't know where she's going, and because she wasn't taking action to clean it up. And I think, you know, communication is so important. And obviously, look, let's not mince our words here. Our family has our biggest soul lessons that we have in this life. We're going to have a lot of lessons in this life. Our soul lessons are always going to be around our family. They're going to be some of the biggest lessons. So it doesn't surprise me that you feel bad because you didn't operate in a way that was in alignment with who you want to be. And if you want to correct it, go have a heartfelt, heart-opening conversation with your mom and see if there is a way to work out the situation that you just acted out of anger, not out of compassion and, you know, and integrity. I don't know all the details. Obviously, I'm here on as live and I don't know you, but it sounds like the cleanup of this situation is to have an honest and heartfelt conversation. Somebody is saying that I seem dismissive of the truth. I think that just determines if that truth is actually mine or somebody else's. I don't agree with everybody on here. Anybody who's watched any of my videos and seen me in the chats, I don't agree with everything that everybody says. So if you're looking for somebody who's going to be in agreement, I listen to my own inner truth. I try to offer alignment for other people to align with the truth of the natural laws. And that's what I align to. So if somebody is saying something that is not in alignment with the natural laws, you are correct. I will dismiss that as being the truth. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People need to be sectioned away from real people that are still normal. The divide and conquer tactic is real, and that is a real example of how that infiltration, that people need to be separated from one another. That's an example of how the infiltration happens. It's a divide and conquer. We are all one. We are all here as humanity in a collective consciousness. There is no way of getting around it. Satan is not God. Satan is the Antichrist. Let's call it what it is. And it absolutely is not God. Melville, how long is this session? As long as there's questions. I don't have a green, that's a tree. I tried to move, so it's a tree. It's not a background screen. I don't have any psychology degree and I've never been divorced. It's so interesting, these people that judge people on a video because they don't agree, and then they put these comments. You're wrong. Never been divorced. Been happily married once, and I do not have a psychology degree because I do not practice traditional psychology. But if you watched the beginning of the video, you would have known that. Jay Jones is saying, what do you do? I do what's called energy psychology. Energy psychology is essentially the alignment to your soul purpose. And it aligns your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. That's what I do. I help people change the patterns in their energy field so they become stronger and more congruent within. Lisa says she is absolutely correct. Thank you, Lisa. Not that I need you to agree, but I'm happy to see that you're aligning with what I'm sharing here. Somebody is asking me, I don't know what this is, BPD. Oh, are you asking me if I have bipolar disorder? Absolutely not. Are you trying to offend me by asking me if I've been diagnosed by some quacky psychology that we have going on in these United States? I would suggest, Rachel or Raphael, that you really go look up. This is for everybody on here that has an alignment with traditional psychology and that has been diagnosed with some kind of disorder. What I would suggest is you go understand. You can go on YouTube. There's videos on YouTube. In fact, I may post a video in the description of this later, where you can go and understand, really deeply understand how those diagnoses come to be. It will blow your mind. And then you'll think you've been had. And that's what those diagnoses, not all of them, but a vast majority of them have been made up and are untrue and are not actually linked to a real disorder. You should go really research that. I think if more people understood how that system worked, I don't think it would be as popularized as it has become. But if you had any questions about who's behind it, you know it's Big Pharma. Okay. Tim says, luckily, lifelong healthy and high energy, but noticing a rise these days in low energy people. Well, if you're just noticing it, then I would say, so he's saying that Tim is saying that he sees things these days around that is depressing, and because I feel with them, how do you deal with this? So if you are, let's just say, noticing that people in your circle of friends or your social group or people that you're around more, and you're noticing more and more that they're getting depressed, number one thing is they are reflecting to you something about yourself. So you want to look at what is it that's resonating with their frequency. Especially, Tim, because you so astutely noticed that you were feeling healthy and high energy And now you're noticing, hey, there's been a shift. What is this shift? Not only is that shift with collective consciousness probably happening, but it's happening with you personally. And so you want to take notice of that, like you have so done astutely, and then notice if you have any vulnerabilities in your field. And what I would suggest is you kind of do a self-assessment. Physically, look at your body, do a scan. See if you have any physical vulnerabilities that are not aligned. Maybe you don't go to the bathroom, maybe you get a lot of headaches, maybe you're constipated, I don't know. Like you want to look at those types of things physically. Then you want to go to emotionally. How are you doing emotionally? Are you processing your emotions? Are you processing your experience? And if you're noticing you're around a lot of depressed people, I would suggest that there's something there emotionally that needs to be addressed. Then you want to go to mentally. How do I feel mentally about my life? How do I feel about my outlook? Is my life the way that I want or expected it to be, or does it need to be adjusted? And then spiritually is where most people are most vulnerable because they have a disconnection with creator consciousness. So spiritually, I would start to create and align yourself with a personal, deep relationship to God and learn about the natural laws. Today is 215 or 16 videos, which each day I'm doing a video specifically about things that help you align and learn more about how to align with the natural laws. You can't align to the natural laws if you don't know you've been infiltrated. So that's why these topics are so important. I hope that was helpful, Tim. Kevin, I don't know why that would matter. Kevin is asking, how would God know if a woman is pregnant to have a baby boy? What makes you think that creator energy is working in such a way that it's focused on genders? That's an earth thing. It's not a God thing. Meaning gender has become such a hyper focus here in our society because that's also a power struggle, power structure. So you want to look at the hierarchies that are being at play. Those are infiltrations. Okay, Eric. Thank you so much. Eric says, Kiana, I love your live stream and you. Thanks, Eric. So happy you're here. I appreciate your support and your generous comments. They're heartfelt, and I can feel that in your words. So thank you. Just looking. YZ is saying, I love this topic. Somebody is saying praying will not help. Praying from the mind does not help. I agree. Praying from the heart is helpful. Intentions are exceptionally helpful in getting clarity. Do I have any book recommendations? I have lots of book recommendations. What topic do you want a book recommendation on? And also, I'm very choosy about what I read. I think there's a lot of junk out there. Okay. What can you... Betsy is saying, my doctor tells you you may not wake up due to hypothermia due to Addison's disease. So Betsy, if I understand what you're saying, your doctor said, your doctor is making you feel, he's giving, if I understand this correctly, Betsy, you're saying your doctor is giving you advice that makes you fearful to do a basic human need like sleep. I would get a new doctor. Because to be healthy, we must have sleep. Ben, I did a video. Ben is asking, what are any quick Ben is asking, what are any quick tips of turning fight or flight off? I did this in detail in the videos from last week, Ben. I would go look at that because I went into detail on how to turn off fight or flight. You must know where your nervous system is signaling in your body. It's going to be different for everybody. So Ben, you got to find that spot. I describe how to look for that in the video from last week. Once you find that spot, it's about setting intention and using your conscious breath. So you want to connect with your breath consciously, and you want to own your body. I am here. I own this body. This is my body. This is my chi. This is my flow. And command your nervous system to flip off. I would suggest that you would work with your higher self and your God self. You must connect with those technologies. Those are part of every human being that comes into this world. Whether they are connected to it or not is questionable, but those technologies are helpful. So build the relationship with those aspects, and that will assist you intuitively to turning off fight or flight. Ben, I got your question twice. If you have problems, Ben, I teach that to everybody in a first session. I'm happy to reach out via email. I don't have anything that I have written down, but I teach it in session so I can help guide you through it. Once you learn it, you won't ever forget it. So feel free to book a session, but you don't have to, because I think that you can do it on your own as well. But if you want help to make it easier so you absolutely know how to do it and feel confident in it, we could do that on a call. Okay, I'm just looking for questions here. Somebody is asking, what is success for me? UFC is asking, what is success for me? I think that's an interesting question. I wonder why would you care what success is for me? Success is for me is health. Being able to be healthy, being in service to humanity is successful. Having an open heart, full of love and gratitude and appreciation, that's success to me. If you would have asked me that 20 years ago, I would have said it would have been making a lot of money. And I would say the real wealth is in your health and in your connection to creator energy. Somebody asked, random guy asked, how can there only be one way to reach salvation? I mean, why can't we follow other religions other than Christianity? This is exactly my point, random guy. Like, this is exactly the point of the infiltration, is that the words have been manipulated. The energy has been used for trickery. And it's not about being a Christian, it's about the embodiment of Christ consciousness. That is the energy of the essence of the Christ teachings, that you become Christ-like by embodying love, kindness, humanity, compassion, integrity, connection to God. That's what Christ consciousness is really about. It's not about a religion. It's interesting, these chats here go back and forth with people that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. Jonathan says he has a question. Animal says, do we have to be religious? I don't think I'm talking about religion. For the most part, I'm talking about consciousness. But I think that's the infiltration that I've been trying to express through here, is that when people don't have an awareness of what infiltration is, they think when you talk about creator energy, source energy, God energy, that that's religion. That's not religion. That's consciousness. It's different. It's totally different. But people think it's the same, which is, it's couldn't be further from the truth, and it has nothing to do with religion. Zero to do with religion. Zero. Do I think we are in hell already and people are watchers? Conspiracy theories. I think that people live a really horrible existence when they're disconnected from God, yes. And I think that can be hell-like, and I've lived that as well. And I think that there are people that look pretty that are walking the life of a demonic person and wishing their own children and their families hell in their personal relationships. I've seen it, I've experienced it, I've witnessed it, and that is an unfortunate situation that happens, you know. The key is to not attack those who are attacking. Random guy, just another live saying my only way is the right way to reach God. I don't believe I said that. I believe that what I said explicitly, random guy, is that you must develop your own personal relationship with God. I didn't say my way was the right way. So you misinterpreted everything that I've said, which is so interesting. And that is, I'm surprised that you're on here, random guy, because everything I teach is about you having your own personal relationship and how you can create that. You certainly don't have to stay on here. You can leave. If this doesn't resonate with you, please don't stay. Somebody asked, do I give dating tips? I have considered it, but no, I haven't. Do I think religion is a division? I think religion is filled with a lot of dogmas that keeps people from using what's called critical thinking. And I think critical thinking is imperative to developing your own personal relationship with God. Arvo says, Muslims say Antichrist is Dajjal, not Satan. That's what I'm saying. There's different words for different things. Either way, we know it's not of the organic blueprint of creation. That's another way of saying it. Bluebird says they love the green around me. Thank you. I like the green too, but people say that it's too green sometimes. My coffee is right here. I didn't finish it this morning. It's almost done. iPhone says, I appreciate that. Blueboard says, have a great day. Thank you. Onarch says, I have positive vibes all around. Thank you. Right back at you. It's nice to see positive comments here. Bluebird says, I'm feeling energy after seeing you. That's a good awareness. Somebody says, Bluebird saying, don't discuss personality. Personality matrix might be something to discuss. It's part of the soul matrix. I must be rich because I have a backyard. I'm rich. Okay. Rich in health is what I prefer to be. I have, Jonathan is saying, I have ADHD, grown up from it, but still have the fight or flight on, meaning things still get under my skin easily and it gets me angry easily. Yes, Jonathan. First, excellent question. And I would say, I want to say a couple things, and I want to be very mindful of how I'm speaking. What I'm going to say is, just because you're diagnosed with something does not mean that you have to make it your identity. Meaning, your name is Jonathan, and that's who you are. And having ADHD diagnosis is somebody from the outside trying to identify a problem and associate with you. But what I would say is ADHD is an expression of how you are expressing as Jonathan, and they just put a label to it. But that expression can change as you change. So you've already articulated this. Fight or flight is a visceral experience that happens within your nervous system. Okay? When you turn off your fight or flight, what you will notice is that your body will start to re-regulate. Repattern is another word. So you need your systems to repattern to a new state of calm. So that's when you have your fight or flight off. But what you're saying is that you get angry. And anger doesn't have to be associated with fight or flight, because anger is often an expression of the ego mind and emotions that have been disconnected. So I hope I understood that correctly. And do I have advice for addressing anger? And there's been on a couple videos a former client that has posted about his experience with anger and anxiety and ADHD. And you can go look at the testimonials, they're there, and certainly reach out to that person if you feel inclined. They haven't commented on every video, but they have commented on some videos. So there's not a ton of comments that stay after the video is posted, so you can find it easily. What I will say is that the anger is not always coming from what you think it's coming from. So it takes an immense amount of awareness and a shift in perception for things to not bother you. You can't say, oh, I'm not going to let that bother me, and it doesn't bother me, when it's something that is triggering. So the triggers are a gift, and the gift is to go into healing. It's hard to go into healing when you're pissed off, right? So the first thing you need to do is have awareness of what is triggering you. So I would do a journal of what's triggering you, what you believe is triggering you. So once you identify it, it won't shock you when it happens. So part of addressing it is to have a strategy. So that's a technical strategy. But ultimately, you have to learn how to process your emotions. And what I would suggest is somebody who's very angry, it's not because of ADHD, it's because you haven't really processed a depth of emotions that are going on within you. And so you want to process emotions. When I say process emotions, that means feel the emotion physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The emotion to process through has to go through everything. So when you're feeling anger, if you could let's just say you're angry now. So you would want to go and find that anger in your body. So you do what's called a body scan, and you close your eyes, you breathe, and you find wherever your attention goes to the most. It might be heat, it might be cold, it might be something's pulsing. Like it'll be different for everybody. So find whatever is the loudest signal in your body when you're angry. And then you want to go into that space with what's called 100% compassionate witnessing. And you just want to witness that space within your body, that anger within your body, until it shifts or moves. If it shifts, That means it's just staying in the same spot and it's shifting. Maybe it's going a little bit, it's feeling less intense from your awareness, right? Then you want to consciously breathe into it. If it moves, meaning it's going to go to another spot, that's not the same as shifting. If it moves, you want to follow it and you want to stay with it until it's completely gone. Now, the first time you do this, it could go as quick as 5 to 10 minutes. But as you become more practiced at feeling your emotions all the way through, what you will notice is that time frame in which that anger goes away, gets smaller and smaller until the moment you look at it, it will start to heal. So that's what compassionate witnessing does. That's one way you could do it on your own. I do it different in my sessions with my clients, because if I know that I have a client who's chronically angry, we have to go through all the different layers. And layers are not always easy. And there are lessons to anger. So you want to learn them. Okay. What should a healthy diet be to be in a good mood? I think that depends on, health varies from person to person. What my diet is, I have a former client that says she could never eat like me. And she's an older woman, she's like 78. And she does not eat well at all. She is very, very unhealthy. And I couldn't eat like her. So, does she want to be healthy? Not enough to eat healthy. So health is hydration, health is balance, health is what your body needs. I think health is not prescriptive for everybody. And I think when we go to people who are prescriptive, saying you have to eat this way, you got to be vegan, you can't eat this, you can't eat chicken, you can't eat fish, it depends on you. And your belief systems. Your belief systems will dictate a lot of what is healthy. But I would steer clear of prescriptive ways of being for health, because everybody's body needs something different. Arval is saying, I get a lot of negative energy. I overthink a lot. And when happiness comes into my life, I get very nervous because I'm addicted to negative. Well, there you go. You have an agreement to be around negative. So you got to cancel that agreement if you want to have a different experience. But I would say, Arval, the first thing I would do is, what are you learning from the negativity? Because any addiction, whether it's addiction to negativity, food, alcohol, smoking, whatever, drugs, is a lack of love. So what are you learning about yourself and your addiction? That's what I would say. John is saying, I'm new here. Is this a safe place to express racism? Probably. Chats aren't very safe. And I don't think divide and conquer tactics are going to go very well here. So I'd say express that somewhere else. Hate and discontent is not something that is aligned with the natural laws. So don't spew your negativity here. Fragment says, I don't know what Fragment's saying here. Oliver's in agreement, 100, 100, 100. How do I address the annoying neighbor? Well, I've experience with that as well. You got to learn your lessons. What do you got to learn from your neighbor? What are they teaching you other than you don't like them? And they're causing you to go into this thing called separation and hate and discontent. Not good for you. Learn your lessons and identify how can you be more kind to your neighbor. Just looking for questions here. I have low confidence level and self-esteem. Well, that's a good awareness to have. So once you know that you have that, then you can create a baseline to start to build your way out of that. Learning more self-awareness will definitely help you. Bang 10 is asking, how can I get myself better? You have to have more self-awareness, and you must learn how to measure yourself internally, have a gauge of how to express. So confidence is an expression of inner connection, and it's knowing who you are. So I would learn more about who you are, what you're about, what you believe, what beliefs that you have that are old, that need to be deleted, and what new beliefs do you need to have. What have you gone into an agreement with that keeps you feeling poorly about yourself? I would ask you to look at what is your belief systems. That will help you begin to shift immediately. Kevin says, should people in the cluster B personality group be barred from politics? Kevin, I wouldn't pay any attention to the politics. YZ agrees that health is wealth. I agree too. Leslie is asking if I'm a real Christian. I think by Christian terms that I'm familiar with here in the States, that would be no. I believe in Christ consciousness. I don't go to church. I don't believe in the dogmas of religion. I grew up Catholic. I don't know if that matters. Somebody is asking, how can I follow the God? I don't know what the God is. You develop a relationship within that connects you to God. Leslie's asking, what is my name? It's Kiana, Kianannaa. How can I stop smoking? That's a good question. Well, I would ask, did you make a decision to stop smoking? First, I would start with a decision. Okay. When Stephen King was asked about being Christian, he simply said that it makes his life here on earth more enjoyable. That's all people need to know. That says it all. I don't know much about Stephen King at all, although I did read his books when I was younger. He's a good writer. I don't know that I resonate with his same, I don't resonate with that any longer. So I don't read things that I don't resonate with. And a lot of things I will say, is this going to help me grow and expand in alignment with the natural laws? And the answer is no, I don't do those things. Jonathan says, I have never looked at it that way. I understand a little bit of what you're saying. Thank you so much for answering. You're so welcome, Jonathan. I'm so glad it was helpful. I forgot what the question was now, but I'm glad it was helpful. And you can ask me any questions even after these live chats. I'm happy to support in ways that align people to the natural laws. Alex is asking, why am I so nervous around women, especially the ones that you're attracted to that don't have any female friends, only guys? Alex, I would say that's a lack of self-esteem and confidence. If you're getting nervous around other people, they're people. Why are you getting nervous? Because you don't know who you are. Get to know who you are. One step is you need to believe in yourself. Yes, to believe in yourself, you need to know what it is that you believe. Do you know how many people know your dad or Nora's dad? Do you know how many people do not know what they believe. They know what they don't believe, which is they would rather go against somebody they believe than know what their own beliefs are. And if you challenge their beliefs about what they're thinking, they just get defensive because they're in their mind. So step one is you need to believe in yourself, but you need to know what and who you are. Like, who are you? Who are you? Austin says, do you write? Do I read often? Yes, I write every single day. Do I read often? No, I would say I don't read very often. I have some books that I've read, but most of the books I scan. There's a lot of junk out there, so no, I don't read a lot. If I felt like something was really about a topic I would be interested in, I might go look for a book about that topic. Do I meditate? Yes, I meditate every single day. Sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what's happening. Especially if I'm doing a cleanse, sometimes I've meditated as much as 3 times a day. It just depends on what's happening, but meditation every day, yes. Norris, dad, 86, 20-year recovered addict. If I ask every one of them the same question, if you made the list of everything that you love, how far would you get down before your name yourself? Oh, that is a great, okay. This is an excellent question. Thank you so much. Norris, dad, 86 says, when you list everything that you love, how far down are you on that list before you put your name? Beautiful question. And that is, I love the way you said that. That's a great question. I think all addictions, and I don't know if this is accurate, this is what I believe. And this means addictions to the gym, working out, it's how much are we loving ourselves. Addictions are separation from love, period. The hand says, I love that. Norris, dad says, you need to get yourself in the top 5. I was never on my list for a long time. Well, Norris, I'm so glad you're on the list now. Self-love changes how you see everything in the world. Everything. That filter that we have on our eyes is a lack of love. If we are in hate, discontent, anger, it's always going to be because there's a lack of self-love. And if we don't have self-love, how are we giving to humanity? How are we expressing kindness, love, compassion to others? It's not. And also, I would say addicts tend to give of themselves, constantly looking to fill themselves up through their giving. And it doesn't work like that either, which I'm sure you probably know that already. Austin, I can tell you're a writer by the way you speak. I need to start writing again. Oh, thank you. I don't think, I think writing is a good way to express. You need to be able to express yourself. And I have found over the years that I like to express in bullets. I used to write long-handed and handwrite, and then I didn't. And then I just found bulleting my thoughts throughout the day, which I do every day. I find it very helpful. One question that I ask myself at the end of every day is, what was my high of the day? That's something my husband and I ask each other every day. And we share that with one another. What are we most grateful for? And also, at the end of the day, one of the things I ask myself is, what did I learn? Is there any big learnings that happened throughout the day that I really need to learn from? So I'll ask that. And I also will ask, what is my intention? Where do I need to focus my intention for my sleep time? I do that every day. So hopefully that helps you. Jonathan asks, do you do sessions for people with bipolar and ADHD? I do sessions for regardless of what you've been diagnosed with. Diagnoses do not determine my clients. I do not do health insurance because I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a therapist. I don't do traditional therapy. So health insurance, the counselors, Jonathan, I offer a sliding scale if you're in need. Reach out, look at my website, see if what I do resonates with you, because it's not therapy, it's actual teaching you about your energy field, teaching you how to connect within. That's what I teach in every session, and every session is unique to each client. And I'm so sorry that you feel left out, but that's why I created this channel. That's why I'm doing these videos, because there are people that want to align with the natural laws and they just don't know where or how. And so, reach out if you resonate with what I'm doing and you want to try. And certainly I have a thing on there if you need help financially that we can work out an agreement. You're not alone. And I'm happy that you're here, and I appreciate your sharing and vulnerability. Joseph is saying there's nothing more important than respecting yourself. Respect is helpful. Yeah. Lewis says, how do I infiltrate my energy when my emotional energy is deflated or being lost? Lewis, what I would suggest is that he's saying, how do I inflate my energy? So first of all, Lewis, I think this is a great question. Sorry, my legs are hurting from sitting. I don't usually sit this long, but this is a long live. Hopefully you guys are all finding it helpful. Okay, Lewis is asking an excellent question here. How do I inflate my energy when I feel like my emotional energy is deflated or being lost? Great awareness, Lewis, because you have that awareness. You must call back all your energy and you command it back to you as the rightful owner. And if this is the Lewis, I think it is, I know about that particular environment, and you are 100% spot on. It is being deflated and lost. And what I would also say is stolen, because you have not claimed your energy field. So you got to claim all your energy back, and you command your energy back as the rightful owner. It's actual command. I command my energy back as I am the rightful owner. That is part of the natural laws, that what is rightfully yours is yours and it cannot be stolen. But if you don't command your energy field and you don't know how to keep it from being stolen, it gets siphoned. So Lewis, what I would say is that you must learn how to strengthen your energy field. That means that you look at physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual vulnerabilities that you have. And with my clients that I work with, I always, that are having more than one session, I always ask them if they want to do this, but we go and we fix all the rips, the holes, and the gaps in their energy field in every single body, so that they can be stronger within. That means that they get less interference. Interference and infiltration, those words could be synonymous. Hope that was helpful for you, Lewis. Kevin says, personality types genetic. No, I don't believe so. Personality profiles is a way of diagnosing and putting people in a box and saying that you're not unique at all. You are this, you're an INFTJ or some ridiculous personality profile. So our cultures have made it so we can start to box people in to how they express, when really personality is really attached to your soul matrix, okay? And your soul matrix has multiple expressions. I'll just say it like that without going into detail, because I really do not want to go into a rabbit hole. Nora's dad, 86 says, my wife is my hero. She helped me get away from addiction and helped me love myself. She, the fact that you two have found love is a beautiful thing, and that you two are supporting each other to love yourselves is key. And I will say that people who have addictions also have partners with other kinds of addictions, like the need to help others or the need to be needed. And I mean, the addictions are real. And, it's all about guiding ourselves back to love. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. So happy you were able to jump on here. Austin says, thank you. I've never tried bullet points. I find it really easy. And I keep, if it helps you, Austin, I also keep a Google Doc open. So I have it titled, and every month I title a different one. And I've tried keeping it for the entire year, but the document last year was like over 300 pages, and that's like a book. I could write a book, but So see, Austin, if it works for you. And the way I like doing the bullets too is that you can have different like headers and different topics, and then you're not having to go back and write complete sentences. Norris, I hope I'm saying no. Norris' dad says he's going to subscribe. Thank you, and I appreciate people like you. Thank you, and I appreciate genuine, honest, growing people like you who know the truth is alignment to love. How you get there, it's different for everybody. Everybody. Austin Walker is asking, have I tried magic mushrooms or mescaline before? No, I'm not a big drug person. I don't need those plant medicines, which is what I refer to them as, to do the work that I do. And I think it can be quite misleading for a lot of people, and people can be infiltrated easily when they are taking drugs, and drugs being alcohol, medicines. I have worked with ayahuasca in the past, and I think you need to do what's right for you. I also have clients that smoke pot all the time. I'm not in judgment. It's not for me. It's not something I feel is in alignment with me. That doesn't mean I have judgment for other people. I do think it's important to have it be a safe place. I guess that's what I would say. The Hand said, if you thought someone was plotting to harm you, all the while seeming kind, I know somebody exactly like that. I know more than one. Someone you thought that was your friend, how would you deal with that? First of all, your thoughts are real. And if you are sensing it or perceiving it, it's probably accurate. And you don't need to explain it to the person. You just make a decision based on the data that you have. People that are smiling to your face and talking behind your back are not good friends. People that do those types of things will betray you. People that are in controlling, want to control you are not friends. What would I do and how would I deal with it? I don't deal with people like that. If they can't be loving and kind, I don't need to talk to them. And I don't like that. I don't spend time with people like that. So I cut them out of my life. My sister is a mean girl. I love her. She's not my friend. She'll always be my sister. But we don't communicate on a regular basis. Why? Because she's a mean girl. She's not very nice. Even when she tries to be nice. And I think she really does try. She's just mean. I don't even think she means to be mean. But that's how she is. She's just not a nice person. Austin says, I subscribed. I think you're smart. Well, thank you, Austin. I think you're smart. You're smart enough to subscribe. Thank you, Austin. I really appreciate you. And I'm so glad that there's people with genuine questions on here today. Jonathan, he subscribed as well and is looking into to see if I feel like I can help him. Certainly, Jonathan, reach out anytime. And you know, you're not alone. Nobody here is alone. That's why I created this channel, because we need to have more information out there on how to align with the natural laws. These are the organic blueprints that we have within our bodies, within our cellular memory. And we must be aware of how our energy is siphoned or infiltrated so we can do the things that need to be done to get our self feeling aligned and congruent and happy and joyful. And those things are missing from a lot of the population, unfortunately. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right, Lewis, I'm glad that helped. Good. Thank you. And thanks for being here. Much love right back to you, Lewis. You're where you work is not easy. I wasn't sure if that was you or not. So the spaces are infiltrated. So Lewis, if you dare to have a session, I will teach you exactly what you need to do to strengthen your field. You don't need a lot of sessions at all. You could if you wanted to, but you don't need that. But you do need it for the siphoning. I would tell you what you need to do for your homework, and then you could just come back and check in. My job, I don't feel like people need to work with me forever unless they want to continue to grow and expand. And then I work with those people who want to do that. But not everybody wants to grow and expand, you know. But we should all know how to have the armor of God within us everywhere we go by connecting totally within ourselves. Okay. Nathan is asking, do I have any good book recommendations? Gosh. The one book that I do not recommend a ton of books, but there are a few books that I recommend for people who have a lot of trauma and or people that are very closed off, meaning they have constricted themselves within their heart so much that they struggle to express in words or their emotions. And for that, I recommend When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate. And he's a Canadian psychologist. And the book is basically a bunch of stories of how the body shuts down when traumas are not addressed. And I read that book after my mother had passed, and I found it so helpful in understanding her illness. I can almost cry thinking about it. So helpful in understanding why my mom struggled with her emotions. You know, I wasn't doing what I'm doing now when she was in her process of dying and I was taking care of her. And I found that book to be incredibly insightful and written with a depth of compassion that I rarely see in in books. So I would say that book is a really good book for trauma, for people who are constricted, closed, who felt betrayed or hurt. That's an excellent book, When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate. And I do not recommend it on audio. Really, some books just need to be read. And then for those of you who are in whether you're in a relationship or preparing to be in a relationship, there is a book by Harville Hendrix. What is the name of that book? Harville Hendrix, and it's Keeping Love Alive or something like that. Keeping the Love You Find. That's what it's called. Keeping the Love You Find. That book is huge for self-awareness only if you do all the activities. And I mean all of the exercises. Don't even think about reading that book if you're not going to do all of the exercises from beginning to end. If you do not do all the exercises from beginning to end, you will miss the big reveal. And the big reveal is going to be a massive awareness about yourself. Now, you might have small awarenesses and insights about yourself throughout that book, but that book is the one that I recommend for people who really need to do and learn a lot about who they are, and how they express and how they got to be who they are. So those are really two good books. And I don't know what topic you were asking about, Nathan, but those are solid recommendations, where you will learn something deep about yourself. The hand says, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love gratitude right back at you. The hand says, that was so big of you to call that out, someone so close. I don't know if that's a good thing. Life isn't all about being happy. Life is about pain and suffering. I would say, J-MAD, that is a belief system that you have. And when you are aligned to a belief that says that life is going to be filled with pain and suffering, you better believe you're going to get handed a lot of it. So I would question those beliefs that are incongruent with living life fully. And is that about living life fully? I don't know anybody. In fact, I was on the phone with somebody today and I was in tears because they are in so much pain and suffering, and I'm compassionately witnessing them. But it is not easy to witness people who are aligned with such pain and suffering, and it's not necessary, and it's not in alignment, and it's always going to be tied to beliefs that you have about yourself. Gosh, I'm talking a lot today. I'm so sorry. This is a long video today. I didn't expect this. But I'm going to answer every question until there's no questions. The hand, I don't think that they mean to be evil, but I'll stay away from them. We don't get to decide how other people's soul journey is expressed, okay? People who treat other people poorly, are mean or unkind, have a horrible connection with themselves. They do not like themselves. They do not come from a place of love and kindness. And I just do not spend time with people like that if I have a choice. Now, if they came to me for a session, that would be different. And the people that I know that are like that would never come because their ego's too big. And if they did come, I don't even know that I would work with them because I don't work with that type of person. I work with people who want to align within. And usually those people that are wishing harm on others, that are wishing harm on their children, that want to take their children away from love and kindness, and are judging their children and their partners in ways that are illogical and crazy, they're not in their right mind. So I do not spend time with people. I choose to not spend time with people who are not in their right mind. J Mad, I wear the armor of God. Amen, so do I. Anarchar, stop watching porn. How do I control my sexual thoughts? You gotta really find a connection to your heart, because your mind is not disciplined. So people that are having irrational addiction-like thoughts, that means your mind has been infiltrated. And if you have repeating thoughts over and over again that are going against your will, that means that you are in some way, shape, or form being influenced by demonic energies. There, I said it. The hand is asking for the 2 book recommendations that I gave. Gabor Mate. I think he says, he spells it Gabor Mate, Mate. And it's, that book is When the Body Says No. He has several different books, but the book that I recommend is When the Body Says No. The second book is Keeping the Love You Find by Harville Hendricks. Spencer, I disagree. I think that the ideas about how Christ actually passed has been manipulated and fooled for religious manipulations. Jack says, I don't know, Mr. Jacks. Alpha is saying, my first wife died with a brain tumor, and my son, after 19, left me alone, and he's now living with his stepmom. It's so painful. I don't know how to forget the memories. Well, I'm so sorry for your traumas. What I would suggest, Alpha, is that this is not going to be an easy task, but I think it'll be a fruitful task, is to not focus on how things happen, but focus on what are the lessons that you need to learn from your first wife. And then what are the lessons that you need to learn from your son? And then what are the lessons that you need to learn from being what you called alone? What do you need to learn? Those are three main topics that I would do a whole list of lessons. And I am sure that these are going to be life lessons for you, meaning these are part of the purpose that you were put on this planet, is to learn these particular lessons. Not all of them, but some of them are going to be quite big. So you want to get what those lessons are and look at that list. And then if you want, I can help you process. But just knowing the lessons will help you. Spencer says, well, anyways, I spoke the truth about the demonic invasion, so thank you. This is true, Spencer. But I would offer to you that not everything that we have been told about religion is true. And unfortunately, the infiltration energetically is dark and nefarious and is very tricky and manipulating. And so we must use our critical thinking always. So thank you, Spencer, for being here and understanding how delicate that topic can be. Austin is asking, what can someone do if they think they're being invaded by a demonic energy? Well, I would go watch the series that I have on here. It's on YouTube, and it's titled, I think it's 3 videos, and it's titled Manipulation. I can't even remember. I made this many years ago, but I made it, and it's all about because there are what I consider levels of infiltration. So I put together like a grading system, so you could see how deep the infiltration has been, because there are levels of being taken over by demonic energies. And you know, I think it's very unfortunate, and it can feel very lonely, very isolating, and very scary. So, so go watch my series on manipulation. And then I would also say, you want to connect with God. So I would say, I am the cosmic sovereign law made manifest. And just claiming that as true for you will shake off some of those frequencies. Aligning that within you will help you immensely. So those are, I am the cosmic sovereign law made manifest. Yeah, that's a good mantra. Spencer, I think it's over. Can I elaborate on specific things I've been lied to about religion? You mentioned that about Christ and the resurrection. Can you please explain? I really do not. Kevin's asking for me to go into detail about religion, which I do not want to do. And I'll tell you why. I just don't think it serves the process of alignment to the natural laws. Because I think that the beliefs that people have about religion are through, not all everybody. There are certainly people that have a heart filled in their connection, okay? This is not about that. This is about people who are spewing biblical terms, judging others, saying people are or are not Christ-like, which is all ego and separation and division, and that has nothing to do with the natural laws. So I really do not want to go into my personal experiences of religion, other than I can honestly tell you I was sick at every major event within the Catholic Church, and it was only when I did my final event at the Catholic Church where I came home to my mom, who was also Catholic, and I said, Mom, I just really don't think this religion's for me. I think God is telling me that this is the wrong place for me. For me to have that much of a visceral reaction to the experience, I felt like I was being told that this was not the right place for me. And I have always listened to my body. When I haven't, I have been schooled and taught some really painful, harsh lessons that I never wish to replicate. But I think religion takes people away from their personal relationship with God. So I will say that. And I think the personal relationship with God is far more important than the religion. I hope that helps. And I hope that gives enough of an understanding. All right, y'all. Well, it's gone on 102 minutes. This is by far my longest live. I appreciate you being here. I hope that you found this live discussion helpful for you and answered a lot of questions that a very meaningful question. So thank you very much for sharing your vulnerabilities and your personal experiences, both challenging and difficult. I appreciate those of you who are in the chat that are asking questions that help other people to align within. And it is my purpose to do these videos to help people align to the natural laws and align back to peace. And that is who I am. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people back to peace. Have a great Friday, and I will be back tomorrow with another live session. The topic is yet to be determined. Have a great day. Bye.